YouTube, Underachiever here. As the title would suggest, today I'm going to be discussing the various forms of lightsaber combat that we see in the Star Wars movies. For those of you who are just getting into the expanded universe of Star Wars, in October of 2002, Star Wars Insider released their 60-second magazine, which contained an article titled Lightsaber, Jedi Lightsaber Combat. This article introduced what are known as the 7 forms of lightsaber combat, which are the in-universe fighting styles used by the Jedi and Sith. Over the years, various other sources such as Star Wars Shatterpoint and the Jedi Path have expanded on what we know about these lightsaber forms, giving us a fairly comprehensive understanding of the different fighting styles employed in the movies. Today, I'll be going over each of the 7 forms, giving a quick description. If you're looking for a more in-depth analysis of these forms, there are plenty of other videos here on YouTube, so be sure to check them out if you'd like to know more. With that said, let's begin with the first lightsaber form. Form 1, Shi-Cho, was developed along with the creation of the lightsaber. This is by far the most simple form of lightsaber combat, taking the basics of attacking, parrying, footwork, and practice drills from traditional metal sword fighting styles. Due to its simplicity, Form 1 was most useful against multiple non-lightsaber wielding opponents. However, when taken to its highest degree of skill by a true master of the form, Shi-Cho could be extremely chaotic and unpredictable. Form 1 was most prominently displayed in the movies by Luke's training under Ben Kenobi on the Millennium Falcon, and by Kit Fisto in episodes 2 and 3. The second form of lightsaber combat, known as Makashi, was developed after lightsaber use had grown far more widespread throughout the galaxy. Makashi is focused entirely on combat against other lightsaber users, and has produced some of the best dueling masters in the history of the galaxy. By the time that the movies take place, virtually no Jedi practice Form 2, as the supposed extinction of the Sith has left the Jedi with very few lightsaber-wielding foes. The most distinctive user of Form 2 in the movies was Count Dooku in episodes 2 and 3. Form 3, also called Surisu, was developed as blaster bolt technology grew far more common in the galaxy. Surisu was created in response to the rising threat of blasters, and was designed entirely around defending against such weapons, using tight, efficient movements to minimize openings and maximize stamina in battle. True masters of Form 3 were considered nearly invincible in combat. Obi-Wan Kenobi was the most well-known and skilled master of this form. Ataru, the fourth form of lightsaber combat, is by far the most acrobatic of the various lightsaber styles. It emphasizes use of the Force to augment a Jedi's physical abilities, allowing them to run faster, jump higher, and spin rapidly. Form 4 was a very physically taxing style, but in combat it was extremely elaborate and overwhelming. However, Ataru was somewhat lacking when it came to defense. Two of the most well-known users of Ataru in the movies are Yoda and Qui-Gon Jinn. Form 5 actually comes in 2 separate variations. The first, Xian, is geared more towards blaster bolt deflection, while the second, Djem-So, is focused more on lightsaber combat. The mentality of the 2 different variations, however, is the same. Form 5 was developed by the Jedi Masters who felt that Form 3 was far too passive. A Form 3 Master may be insurmountable, but that does not mean that the Form 3 Master would necessarily be able to overcome his opponent either. The result would become a war of attrition that could end up lasting far too long. Form 5, as a result, is aimed at quickly dominating an opponent. Xian takes the blaster-focused defenses of Form 3 and turns them into a form of offense. Rather than harmlessly deflecting incoming blaster shots as Form 3 does, Xian instead redirects those blaster shots back at the person firing them. The other variation, Djem-So, does something quite similar, but against opposing lightsaber wielders instead. Rather than passively parrying and blocking, Djem-So uses heavy power attacks and shunting blocks to create exploitable openings in the foe's defenses. Djem-So focuses heavily on strength and power to achieve peace through superior firepower. The most notable users of Form 5 in the movies are Anakin, Darth Vader, and Luke Skywalker. Form 6, known as Naiman, is the most common form of lightsaber combat just before the Clone Wars began. Naiman is frequently referred to as the Diplomat's form, as it required the least amount of upkeep for a Jedi to maintain their skills, allowing a Jedi to focus more on their skills with political strategy, negotiation, and study into the Force. This form focuses on moderation, being far less aggressive than Forms 4 and 5. In practice, Naiman combines Forms 1, 3, 4, and 5, taking elements from each to achieve a balanced fighting style. Form 6 also teaches Jedi to use multiple weapons at a time, as well as teaching them to integrate their Force abilities in with their lightsaber sequences. It requires over 10 years for a Jedi to master Form 6, making it one of the most demanding forms to learn. However, the end result is a Jedi who is far more capable when it comes to resolving complex political conflicts, while still having skill enough to hold their own should a battle break out. However, even the most skilled Form 6 masters were incapable of lasting long when vastly outnumbered. As a result, not a single 9-man specialist survived the Battle of Geonosis. While there are no focus masters of Form 6 as major characters in the movies, we know that Darth Maul, Darth Vader, and Darth Sidious all integrated elements of 9-man into their unique styles. The seventh and final form of lightsaber combat, much like Form 5, comes in two variations. The most common variation was known as Juyo. Juyo was the most difficult and demanding of all 7 lightsaber forms. Only the most skilled of Jedi or Sith, who had already mastered multiple other lightsaber forms, could make use of Form 7. Juyo used bold and direct motions that were far more mobile than Form 5, but less elaborate than Form 4. Juyo was focused on overwhelming their opponents with rapid, randomized, and powerful attack sequences. One of the most notable elements of Form 7 is that it draws heavily on emotions to fuel its power and aggression. As a result, Form 7 was most commonly practiced by dark side adepts, rather than servants of the light side. One of the few exceptions to this, however, is Mace Windu, who created his own variation of the form, which he refers to as Vaapad. Unlike Juyo, Vaapad focuses more on controlling and channeling the user's raging emotions rather than giving into them. The most prominent user of Juyo in the movies is Darth Maul, while Mace Windu is the only character we see using Vaapad in episodes 2 and 3. And with that, we've covered all 7 forms of lightsaber combat. Of course, I plan on going into more detail on these in future videos, but for now I thought it was important to just cover the basics. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and keep an eye out for future videos. Until then, this is Underachiever signing off.